So today's golf lesson, we're going to look at how you can stop whipping the club inside. This is one of the most common faults and first point of breakdowns I see on my lesson tee week in, week out. So today I'm going to give you a great way of monitoring and changing the way you take the club back to help the rest of your golf swing fall into place to give you effortless golf results. Keep watching to learn how. So what we're looking at today is really to stop the rolling of the arms and rolling of the wrist in the takeaway that gets that golf club driving itself very low inside, round your body as you take the club back. As a guideline, what we tend to look at is when I'm taking the golf club back, I never want to see the club head go behind my bum line in the first, let's say, half of the golf swing. So if the club worked in here and was inside my bum line, like you can see here, that would be what I would call as underneath or too much from the inside. What tends to happen from there is there tends to be a raising of the arms to the top and a disconnect, which then tends to lead to an over the top move. Not always. There are some great players that take the club back inside, work it up to the top quite nicely, but in a slightly disjointed fashion, and then work on the downswing beautifully and hit great shots. If that's you, don't worry about changing the takeaway, because if you start to change the takeaway, you're going to start to upset the rest of the mechanics and compensations that make you so good right now. The takeaway, so important. So many golfers whip this club way inside. When that happens, it can cause the face to open, it causes you to be off plane, off direction, off the arc, whatever you want to call it. The main thing really is the compensations you make from there. If you make no compensations, you'll tend to have a very flat, short swing with no power, no speed. If you compensate and get the club up to the right position at the top, the tendency then is to come over the top and cut across the ball and hit the slices and pull shots and pull hooks. So ideally, it's not what we want. If we want to get the golf swing in the right kind of area at the top of the swing and transition correctly, getting the takeaway right is a real key part. However, if you are the kind of person that whips the club inside, and I've done this in the past, you're going to start to get the club working off plane for the rest of the golf swing. And this is kind of what happened through my early career as a golf player, if you like. And because of that, then I've always been a bit steep in transition. And I've always recovered that with a little bit of kind of raising the handle and flicking through the golf ball, which I particularly hate. So today we're going to show you a way of monitoring and changing your takeaway to make you a better player. What we've got here is some rods down. Obviously this is a ball to target line, or opposite my ball to target line, or parallel to my ball to target line. This yellow rod is pretty much on my ball to target line. And this rod here is set, and we want to set this pretty much at the club we're using as regards a lie angle. So that's a 7 iron set there. And you'll see here it's set probably a couple of millimeters inside that ball to target line. And the idea being, if I take my address position here now, and I get myself all parallel to the ball to target lines as I want, I'd want to be able to take my takeaway, and I would just want the club probably to nudge that rod at the very top, or if I wanted to accentuate things, miss it totally. And then on the downswing, I'd want to be inside that. Now from a distance back, you'll see here, it's about a club behind the ball. Now there is a danger we'll hit this in the downswing, or even if we're real over the top, I'd come over it. The idea for me is you work on this very slowly, and we try and work on, really concentrate on the takeaway initially. So brushing it or above it. The idea is the hands feel like they go on the blue line, and the club is certainly above the yellow line. On the yellow line is absolutely fine. We don't want it to be crashing in too early or whipping in or even going underneath the yellow line. That's definitely what we're trying to avoid. The tendency is with people who rotate the club in too early, their arm, this left arm in particular, will lose connection and ride around the rib cage and pronate, and the wrist will also rotate too early. The right wrist will go into too much extension too early. We want to keep the hands fairly neutral, let the arms do what they do. There will be a cocking of the wrist or a setting of the wrist. The weight of the club, as long as we have the right grip pressure, should allow that to happen naturally. So what I'd like you to do as a process is make a few practice swings where you feel you would miss the objects, both in backswing and downswing. And then what we're going to do is go ahead and hit the ball in a slow motion, in a very deliberate fashion initially, and build up the speed as we get comfortable. Don't be scared if it takes you a while to build up the speed. It's quite an interference. It gets in your way. It's going to make you feel intimidated, and that's exactly what we want it to do. We want your practice to be a changing state, not just a continuation. So let's have a go at a shot from there. So we take our normal posture, our normal setup, make a little rehearsal to get familiar, and then we're going to make a swing. So again, very slowly hit shot. The ball curved a bit too much right to left. Again, this is kind of what this is encouraging. So it did that a bit more than I wanted to, probably because I went so slow. When I go slow, my body, and particularly for me, doesn't work as well, so my hands get a bit flippier. In terms of the path and plane, I'll watch it back to see how it looks. But it definitely felt I had the loop of going back on a straighter fashion and dropping or shallowing the club on the way down to get the club into the kind of right slot I'd want. Now, if I could speed up my body and post my body better on the way through, then I'd probably be very happy with how that would start to look. And that would be the progression, the reinforcement, how I'd move it forward. This video is really all about trying to change that takeaway, the first move. And quite often in golf coaching, what we see is the first point of breakdown is either setup or takeaway. So if we can stand correctly and start the swing correctly, there's a lot of natural things that can happen in your golf swing to make you have a great golf swing and make you play better and score better. And the main benefits for this is really, it's going to help the transition. It's going to help the change of direction at the top of the swing. It's going to help stop you coming over the top if the root cause for you over the top is whipping that club inside. And as I said, on my lesson tee, probably 80% of the golfers I would teach would whip the club inside. So this is a biggie. We're not really looking so much at the cause of why it happens today, but the cause will be more into those arms, as I said. But this little drill here will give you essential feedback straight away. You can do this in the garden with airflow balls, or you could do it on the range. Set it up in the basket if you've got a concrete type range rather than the grass range, and that'll give you some feedback straight away to tell you what's going on and how you can feel the difference in when you move better. So I hope you've enjoyed that look and the takeaway and how you can start to address and change and fix it with these small processes. If you have, please click like and share the video. Also chat down below, let me know what videos you'd like to see from me in the future. Also give me some feedback on this particular video or ask any questions. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I really welcome any questions or comments. It really help me move the channel in the direction I want to take it in. Also, if you haven't already followed and subscribed, please hit my logo down the bottom corner. Join me on my journey. Let me help you improve your golf. Thanks for tuning in today at the Forest of Arden. Hope to see you again here very soon.